Hello, hello, hello. I'm Ash. This is Amalgam Ash. I'm testing the Rode Videomic Go. I have a couple of things for consideration here. I'm using the Action 4K app to screen record and to record my webcam into two different files. I've got my Rode Videomic Go II microphone as the selected application, and I have the Rode Central software which connects to the firmware on the Videomic Go II. The Videomic Go II is connected via USB-C cable to my PC, and I have headphones in its aux port for monitoring, which is my favorite thing to do with any microphone. Make sure that I know what it sounds like as I'm recording. I typically have sound outputs like from video games, voice chat, and everything routed to that monitoring port on the microphone as well. Don't care if that's good practice, best practice, whatever, that's what I do, so that I can put on my headphones, hear myself, make sure I sound correct, and also hear everything else in the recording that's going on. So that's what I like to do, and then I have a variety of settings here that I'm going to toggle between. If you saw my car field test, I cycled through all of these settings while I was in a vehicle. The wind was roaring outside. It was not a soundproof environment. I was really putting this thing through hell. But now I'm going to be putting it through the test in this more natural environment. And it's just going to be slightly off camera. You do see a microphone here, perhaps. This is the BEACN, which is my favorite microphone. But the Videomic Go II is going to be off camera. And as such, I would like to test its abilities when it's going to be a little bit further away from my face. I think it'll still not be as close as it is when I go to use it for its intended application. Just got to position it a little bit better, closer to my mouth there, or pointing more directly at my mouth rather. Hold on. There. Test. That should be good. Very lightweight microphone. I've got it on a swivel head ball joint after putting a 3/4 to 1/4 20 adapter onto the base. So now I can put it wherever I want. So we have, again, a variety of settings here. High pass filter, input level, direct monitor, pad, and high frequency boost. And you should be able to hear the car passing outside because I have my window open. You can also hear the birds very well. And you can hear a slight hiss. This might be the microphone self noise. I don't know yet. But I got my direct monitoring turned almost all the way up. And if I mess with this setting, you won't be able to hear it. Only I will. So we won't mess with this setting for the purposes of this video. But we will mess with these other settings, all combinations. Input level. This is input level all the way up. I'm going to bring it down to about 66%, and you might have heard me get quieter. If you hear me get too quiet, don't bother like turning up the volume, or I guess do if you want. I'm not going to adjust anything in post. You're hearing raw sound only, which is really what I would have liked to have heard when I was watching reviews for this thing in every video. But I will go down to 33% and talk for a bit. So roughly 33%. I'm not going to be exact on it. I've heard that lowering the gain on your microphone, well, I've heard it's true. It'll pick up less of the sound and things around. It'll kind of isolate what it's hearing down to here. But I have found with tests using the Yeti X microphone that if I turn the gain way low and talk into the mic and then adjust in post-processing and turn all the volume and everything back up, it picks up the artifacts of the room. So it's like, what's the point of this strategy of lowering the gain only to raise it in post-process? And then I guess you're still picking up the core characteristics of your voice and losing on a significant portion of room noise if you do that versus not post-processing at all. But I don't know, 66%. I don't hear anything through my monitoring. That's not my voice, but I can only hear my voice a little bit. So I'm sure if I go into post and I increase the volume, that I'm going to hear the hiss that I hear now with the microphone at 100. So, high pass filter at 75 hertz and then 150 hertz. And this is basically just taking everything that is, well, it might be really hard to hear. But once we get the high frequency boost on, I think you'll be able to hear it easier. So this is with high frequency boost on, and you can kind of hear the hiss a little bit better in the background. So I'm going to let you hear it in silence for a second, and then I'll turn it off. Yeah, hear that sound difference? And that high frequency boost will take the higher ranges, the higher frequencies that the microphone is hearing, and it will apply a little bit more gain to them. So a little bit more decibel. Exactly where the knee is and the cutoff and everything, we can't control. All we can do is hit this button mindlessly. And then with the high frequency boost on, we'll turn the high pass filter off. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear the difference. I can. When I'm monitoring, I can hear the difference in my voice. So it's more of a rumble with the high pass filter off. We are at 150 hertz right now on the high pass filter, and then off. And yeah, there's a distinct difference with the bass in my particular voice and vocal range. So I'm going to keep that off. I'm going to turn the high frequency boost off for the rest of the purposes of where we're at now. I'm now going to turn the pad off, and things are going to get loud. So the pad, and I have to talk a lot quieter now, is there to kind of act as a noise gate. Not really a noise gate so much as a noise filter. Different things, won't explain that right now. Actually, I will. Noise gate takes everything at a certain frequency threshold and lowers the volume of it during the processing of sound. And it's fine. It's train. I've never heard the train that clearly. I can't hear it that clearly when I take my headphones off. That's amazing. Recall that my window is open, okay? You can really hear the birds freaking out too. Other things that you can hear that you wouldn't normally be able to hear: mouth sounds, just the act of my tongue disengaging from the roof of my mouth, my cheeks moving away from my teeth, things like that. And yeah, can't speak too loud. Not even typing. Hands just moving over the keyboard. Pretty phenomenal. I would like for that train to shut up now. But we'll go ahead and change the different stats here. And this test, I think, is important because this room is largely, like, not... It's kind of treated. There's sound panels up in a lot of places around the room to eliminate things like echo, and I've clapped in different parts of the room, noted the echo, put up sound paneling. It's just cheap foam glued onto foam board and hung up. It was supposed to be an economical solution, and it has definitely given me some help, but this is not a perfect scenario by any means. It just might be a great test for people who live in similar places, who have similar amounts of noise going on and want to hear what this microphone sounds like. But this is the Rode Videomic Go II with the pad off. All of its stuff is off. We'll turn that high pass filter back on. Lose out on some of that bass. This is more of a broadcast sound now. I don't like it. Some of you might really, really like the broadcast sound, but I don't really dig it. I like the bass in there. I get made fun of for it. I don't care. Turn the high frequency boost on as well. Ooh. Yeah, and it could possibly be picking up on something that it's not picking up on before. I don't know. And then the high pass filter, turn that right off. I'm happier with that off. I'm actually happier with the high frequency boost off. I'm not going to change anything in post. I'm going to leave everything exactly as you've heard it. And hopefully this video will help you in some way. So again, not going to change any of this sound in post, which means I'm not going to apply any volume increase, it's all going to be the actual natural volume of the microphone as you've heard it here. Out of the box, it's not a battery-powered microphone. I am curious about the higher-end ones. I don't want a battery-powered one, though. I think that's stupid. They have their purpose, obviously. They have their uses, but I just don't want to have to worry about that. I should turn the pad back off, or on. There we go. There we go. Oh. I'll turn the pad back off really quick and I'll change the input level to about half. And we can see if that makes a difference at all. It seems to make a big difference, actually. You might still be able to hear the animals and stuff outside, but I think you can probably hear my voice a lot clearer now. And no train, no computer fans, or at least they're minimal. They're minimal. What if we go even lower? Go like 25%. Won't touch this in post. Will not change any of the volume or anything. If there's any change at all, it'll be YouTube doing a normalization on the video, which they do. And that's okay, because ultimately the results are going to be the same. And that's it. Turn that back up. And the cool thing about the Rode Central and all microphones that have this sort of manipulation of the firmware on the body, the firmware, is that you can turn all this off. You can get rid of this app, you close it out, disconnect this, go plug it into your phone, which plugs in beautifully to my Samsung Note 10 Plus, easy, as per my road test video, my literal road test, and the settings stay. So you don't have to go fiddling with them every time. Once you dialed in and you found your favorite thing and you're not going to be changing your environment too much, or even if you are, you're wanting to stay with those settings, you don't ever have to touch this ever again. You just get the settings where you want them and you go. It does kind of make me wish that they would put more settings on here, like a whole ass EQ. That would be so cool. There's that train again. With the pad off and the input at halfway, I wonder if it's as noticeable. But I also wonder if this microphone's being used for ASMR purposes, where's the sweet spot? Where do we want this to be? Anyway, guys, that's the test. 13 minutes of video. Thanks for watching. Check out some of my other gear review. It's tailored towards low-end, cheap stuff, just trying to see what's a waste of time and what's actually worth it that might be able to help you out if you're a content creator like myself. And work your way up to the Rode Videomic Go if you liked this. Absolutely. Or start out with it. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.